Hola, bom dia, Carl Munson here. It's the Good Morning Portugal show, and it's here on expatsportugal.com. How are you as we approach another week? And a strange one here in Portugal. More municipalities have, of course, joined the state of emergency measures. I will go through those this morning, because I think that's pretty important to do so, so you know what you're up against and in terms of movement and restriction. Don't want you getting into trouble, and we will have a list courtesy of Safe Communities Portugal. And we also have some really good news this morning. We have the grandmother of our community, Jacqueline, Dona Jacqueline, as we call her, joining us to tell us the story of her residency journey here in Portugal, which is a very happy ending, which culminated in, I think, the drinking of some champagne last week. So here we are starting another week. I will put it on the screen for you. What are we talking about here? We are talking about segunda-feira, dia de 6 of November. Oh, forgive me. I have had some issues with my Wi-Fi this morning, so I might be a bit laggy. I sometimes am laggy anyway, aren't I? But I might be a bit extra technically laggy this morning. So do bear with us. And do let us know how you're doing this morning. A couple of hellos coming in. A rather marvelous fellow is Safira, who joined us at the Expat Man Cave, on Friday. Safira, I believe you're oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't say your real name. I'll let you do that if you want to share that with everybody. But what a great guy Safira is, joined us, and I think we're talking for 3 hours in the man cave. It's the virtual local where the fellas have a drink and a chat and process the week as expats, and it was great. Safira was really helpful to us as a Portuguese fella, telling us a few things, not least about Portuguese politics, and they'll be joining us again with a special on that subject. Gemini is here as well. Gemini Bradshaw, good morning everyone from Gemini. I can see there's a few other people around. Maybe you're feeling a bit Monday-ish as well and not inclined to say hello, but I do urge you to do so. Let us know how you are, where you are, and maybe if you're one of the people that's had a head start in your municipality lockdown curfew. How's that going for you? How's it been going in the first week of that, as the rest of us join you? I know where I live. I'm joining it with the measures in Anadia. We go into the deepened state of emergency measures this week, where there's a curfew from 11 at night till 5 in the morning. But we'll go into all the technicalities of that in a little while, and of course talking to Jacqueline in just a moment. But as customarily we do on a Monday, look forward to nature and the week ahead and the weather that is there for us, despite what's going on politically, bureaucratically, on the ground for the human beings. The sun hopefully is shining, but we're just about to find out. And this is part of the lagginess I mentioned. My weather is slow to load. While it's doing that, so I was also hoping to share with you the Portugal 100, which we started work on. When was that? I think that was, last week, actually, after we spoke to Maria in Tamar, who mentioned the Tamar Matchbox Museum. I thought, I know, we will list all of these things that keep going on this list of things for us to do, see, and experience in Portugal. And we're off to a cracking start. So I think I'm going to go through the list as it stands at the moment, and some great suggestions that came in late last night, actually, from somebody on the expatsportugal.com forum called Old Bloke. That's what he calls himself, Old Bloke. And he's taken us into 20-something on our 100. I think ultimately there's going to be about 10,000 things to do on there. I really do. And it is my pleasure and delight to share them with you. So this weather, here we go. The weather is starting to show a little bit like the sun this morning. We can do Porto first. 12 degrees, mostly cloudy at the moment. 17 is the high today in Porto. Cloudy, a little bit of sun peeking out from behind the clouds, but a sunny day tomorrow in Porto. Rain coming on Wednesday. Then the sun returns, looking like a beautiful weekend ahead in Porto. A cloudy Thursday, but yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, very sunny. In the capital, we're looking at 15 degrees and mostly cloudy at the moment. 21 the high today. 2 cloudy days today and tomorrow. A bit of rain on Wednesday, just like Porto. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sunny times ahead. A nice looking weekend, albeit a little bit cloudy on Sunday. Let's go to Coimbra now. Overcast. 13 degrees and overcast. The high of 20, remaining overcast today. But like Porto and Lisbon, we are looking at a sunny day tomorrow, Tuesday. And we have a Wednesday and Thursday, a little bit rainy, but then a beautiful weekend by the look of it, with highs of around 18 and 19 and sunny days, clear skies. Faro, currently cloudy, mostly cloudy today, high of 22. It's a nice temperature, isn't it? I sat outside last night, actually, in my shirt sleeves, late last night, about midnight, on the steps, waiting for Jimmy Choo to come home from his little trip out. He's the dog, by the way, in case you think he's one of my children. Oh no, little Jimmy, he has a little wander around in the woods and stuff, and I'm sat on the steps waiting for him in my shirt sleeves in November in Portugal. Isn't that awesome? So 17 degrees, mostly cloudy and Faro, and a high of 22. 21 tomorrow. Cloudy week, actually. That's the pattern. Cloudy all week, and then a lovely Saturday to look forward to down there in the south. Okay, so that's the weather done. And let us welcome our guest of honor. Haven't we had some cracking guests recently? The British ambassador last Friday, and now this morning, grandmother of this community, Dona Jacqueline, over there in Caldas Da Rainha, with some great things to say about the people of Caldas Da Rainha. Good morning to you, Jacqueline. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very, very well. I'm very happy. And yes, I do have some great things, and I have got my certificate of residency.
There it is. There's Dona Jacqueline's residency. That's what it looks like, folks. You'll get to see there's the insignia of the European Union, and it's a single A4, and it just shows you that you have 5 weeks, not 5 weeks, that wouldn't be very good, but 5 years. Let me correct that, 5 years of residency. So there is and then after that, of course, you can apply to become a permanent citizen of Portugal. So do tell us the story here, Jacqueline, because it didn't start brilliantly, did it? But it is resolved beautifully. So what's the backstory here?
Well, the backstory really is, I'll just say a little bit about my sort of general concerns about officialdom and various things. You know, I don't like legal activities or any of those things. So I have a nervousness about them, which is built a little bit by experience, but or not such good experiences, but sort of rather confirmed in my beginnings in Portugal. But this time what happened was I was due to go to England and I couldn't go because of lockdown. And during that time, something happened which really made it almost impossible for me to go back. And so I was then told that I had to apply for residency before a certain date because of Brexit, and my immediate reaction to that was to actually want to bury my head in the sand and not do anything at all. In fact, I spent a lot of time asking people the consequences that might be if I didn't do anything. And then through the Expats Association, I was given the name of a lady who works in a company. I don't know if she's one of the companies on your list, but she really talked me through my concerns and upsets and just kept on saying, you've just got to, you've got to just do it. And it's very difficult for me to do anything because I'm confined to a wheelchair and I haven't actually been out of the house since, I think, last Christmas. So, wow, really? Anyway, so no, it's not as long as that, but March anyway.
Okay.
So I just haven't been anywhere and can't go anywhere. And also the advice is to stay at home because of the COVID and because of my age and various problems. So I finally spoke to a lady in the camera who she said, no, you have to come in person. And I just said, well, I can't. And that sort of conversation went backwards and forwards a little bit. And then I said, well, I don't know what would you, I genuinely can't come, and that's the end of it. So, you're advising me on the one hand not to go out because of COVID, and even if I could get out, I can't. So she went away and spoke to somebody, obviously a little higher up, who then rang me and said, don't worry, just stay calm. We're going to find out what we can do for you. And what they did for me, in actual fact, was come to the house, look at my passport to see that I was who I said I was, did all the paperwork. They came twice, and because of various things they'd forgotten to ask me. And then they took copies of everything. And then they came with this amazing certificate. And
Amazing.
with a photograph. But in the meantime, I had to prove that I lived in the house that's in the local freguesia. I'm not sure if that got the pronunciation.
Freguesia, that's right, yeah.
And so I went through the same conversation with their office, and I was asked to send everything in an email and attachments. But eventually, the two communicated, and the president, when he'd finished work one day, turned up with the other piece of paper that I needed desperately, which is on the back of here.
Oh, that's your attestado, that's right. Maybe we should explain to people the little process here. It was the one that, and bear with us again, this is actually, this is for EU people. We were very sort of Brit-centric on Friday with Chris Sainty, who was really good. I had a lovely chat with him, the British ambassador, and now we're outlining the process for EU members or EU citizens, such as the Brits are until in the transition period now. But for those EU people who are applying for residency in Portugal, you need the pieces of paper. Well, you need that first piece of paper that Jacqueline's showing there, which is the attestado. And it sounds like the mayor came round to attest that you were indeed a resident of the parish in which you say you're resident. And then that goes with proof of, that is the proof of living in a particular parish, which the camera, the town hall need to see to know that you are living there. And they seem satisfied about that. And we'll show the photo in a minute. But yes, the first thing is to prove that you live in where you say you live in Portugal, such that you can become a temporary resident and get your residency there. So that's the process, and that's what all Brits are being urged to do at the moment. So that sounds great, Jacqueline. So has that helped allay your fears about dealing with authority? Because I have that down as, if I may say so, I have that down as a kind of the thing of sort of younger people. And I imagine, when you go grandma age, we imagine grandma's got everything sorted out and wouldn't have such concerns about dealing with the authorities. But has that helped you in that regard with your recent experience?
It really has. And it was quite interesting because there were, thank you.
That's Diogo in the UK. Congrats, my lady. Many thanks to you.
Yes, because I've had it all my life and I didn't really know. I didn't really know that. And of course, I lived in countries where they were always evacuating us in my early part of life, and occasionally in the Lebanon, yes. But the other thing was that they gave me their phone numbers. But there's one little thing that I think people should know, and I definitely did change my attitude, because the lady you see in the photograph, she's quite a high official in the camera, and I kept saying to her, "Why are you being so nice to me?"
What was her answer?
She couldn't understand it, and she said, "I need to assure you that I'm not giving you any different treatment than I do to anybody else, although this was a first for the disabled sort of community that they'd had. So it bodes very good for anyone else in my position, yes. Which I think is lovely, because we do need to change that here in this area, particularly because there aren't disabled facilities at all. We don't even have drop curbs in the town, Yeah. So yeah. I used to go with my husband years ago on my little scooter. It was like an obstacle race. But she told me so much about herself and started to tell me that she couldn't sleep at night if she didn't do her absolute best.
Oh, bless her.
People. And it was a genuine sort of love. And I realized that I was talking to a fellow heart person, who really cared about what they do.
Yeah.
And the gentleman from the president of the Freguesia was exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Incredible.
what an amazing place to live.
Indeed.
And they both gave me their telephone numbers, their personal telephone numbers, and said, if I ever needed help, they would be, they'd do what they could to help me. And I just thought, this is absolutely amazing. So I feel a lot safer somehow.
Yeah, I can understand.
But I did realise I had a bad attitude towards officialdom. I really did. So I've repented of that. And but that's that wonderful circumstance.
I suppose it's meeting people, isn't it, and seeing the human face of this rather than just imagining, the just thinking of the bureaucracy side of it and the challenge of it, and then meeting some beautiful, lovely, warm human beings, as you've done here in Portugal. Do you remember their names? Do you know the name of the mayor and this lady in the picture here?
The name of the mayor was Victor, and I don't know whether I should. I don't know.
You'd rather not. That's absolutely fine. But we can see this lady here, and there's champagne involved, obviously. And we should say as well, of course, she is from. I think we can mention in terms of praising this particular government office. Which are you happy to say which camera this is?
It's Caldas Da Rainha.
Caldas Da Rainha, everybody. So that's as you go to the Silver Coast of a little bit of land. Sorry, Jacqueline, go on.
The Freguesia is the São Gregorio area. San
Gregorio. Okay, so that's the where Vitor, the mayor, popped out over to see you, San Gregorio, and the main. The president, I do beg your pardon. Yeah, I'm just thinking of in terms of equivalence as I understand it in the locality. So yeah, but he's like your parish head, isn't he? And then the camera town hall is Caldas Da Rainha there. What lovely treatment! Absolutely superb. And so yeah, a glass of fizz to celebrate. A few people. Let's say hello to a few people this morning, even from Bangkok, as far afield as Bangkok this morning. Good bon dia to you, Helen. Garvo's here. I think Vovô, I've learned in Portuguese, is a nice way of saying granny or granddad, which we extend. He doesn't look old enough, does he? Look at him. Morning self, he says. I don't know if that's a Brummie phrase. Right there, morning self. I don't know. Or a typo. We're not sure. Dona Graça is here as well, everybody. Bon dia. May the sun shine on all your lives. That's a lovely thing to share with us this morning in these somewhat challenging times. I was talking to Graça yesterday about how important it is that we remember, what a wonderful thing it is to be alive, despite all these challenges in our living circumstances sometimes. So good to remember. Not always easy to do, obviously, and I'm not being Pollyanna-ish, but if we can possibly have a little bit of gratitude and grace in our lives, that's what graça means, obviously. It's a wonderful thing if we can possibly do that. Bon dia from the Netherlands, from Mignon, which I think is a beautiful name. Here's the first mention of this kind. Bon dia, my dear, from Sean Maguire. 39 days to Christmas, obviously a fan. Are you a fan of Christmas, Jacqueline?
I like Christmas, but I like the true celebration of Christmas, which seems to have got a bit lost over the years.
You can say that again. Yes, it's true.
I from the commercial side of it, but I do love a good food and a family gathering and things, which we're going to miss a lot this year. But
indeed. Yeah, hopefully things will be a bit easier on that, and that the current measures we're taking will make Christmas easier and more resemble a traditional Christmas if possible. Hi from Torres Vedras, from Susan. Hello, Susan. Lovely to have you here this morning. Freya's here. Bon dia from Amarante, a beautiful part of Portugal there. And Diogo, bon dia, feliz nova semana. Good morning. Happy New Week from England. Norfolk, all good here. Thanks for keeping the country safe for us over there, Diogo. And lots of love to you and all the Portuguese community in the UK. And bon dia in Tavira from Mark Hay this morning. Good morning to you, Mark. Bon dia, very quiet weekend in Ericeira. Didn't hear anything but birds and motor scooters delivering food. Hope the curfew helps. Yeah, with the situation that we're in. Thanks, Gail, for that. Yes, it has been so quiet, hasn't it? Good morning from Sardinia in Italy. Hello, Francesca. Lovely to hear from you. I don't think we've had a greeting from Sardinia before. Louise, good morning, Louise. Hello to you. Bon dia. The sun is shining in Coimbra after an overcast weekend. That's nice to know. Ola from sunny Vaquinhas. Have a great week from Owen. And I'd messed up, actually, when I was talking about the day and date in our attempts to learn Portuguese here. We are looking at segunda-feira, 16 de novembro. I struggle with the teen numbers, how to pronounce those, but I'm going to go with 16 for 16 today. I'm open to challenge on my pronunciation and ridicule, as ever, on my pronunciation. And people don't tend to hold back with that, I can tell you. Maria, good morning to you, Maria. Good morning from outside of Tamar. This morning. Great to hear from you, Maria. Bon dia. Just spent 2 weeks in Portugal. Got in before lockdown in the UK. Certificado de registro in hand. Woohoo! We need a little jingle, I think, that does a woohoo. Portugal, here we go. That's really great news, Vara. Good for you. Jenny Dufus, bon dia from a drizzly Olhos d'Água in the Algarve. Good morning to you, Jenny. That sounds like a lovely place. Olhos d'Água. Is that Eyes of Water, I wonder, or Water View possibly? Bon dia from Phil. Not an ideal time to be moving to Portugal, but I'm just preparing to travel to Ceia in the next 2 weeks. Good luck with that adventure. Hope you can enjoy it, Phil, even under the current circumstances. I'm sure it will be special for you. Thank you for the post you sent me, Jacqueline Mary Brown. In her duties as grandmother of the community, I think helping Owen out there, very helpful, says Owen. Good luck on your journey from Mignon to Phil. Bon dia, Carl, and bon dia, Jacqueline, from Will Thompson this morning. Good morning, Will. How are you doing? And our friend Chris from Devon this morning tuned in. Mrs. T asks, what's in your mug, Cobra? He's not got Mrs. Thatcher with him. This is different Mrs. T he's talking about. British tea, I can assure you, not whiskey or anything like that, Mrs. T. Don't worry. I haven't gone off the rails since I've been here in Portugal. And also, does Jacqueline miss things like bingo?
I do. I've never played bingo in my life, so I don't want to.
Yeah, that's an ageist stereotype, I reckon, Mrs. Oh, honestly, Mrs. T should know better. Congratulations, Jacqueline, on your PT residency all the way from Thailand. How special is that from Helen? Yes, congrats, my lady. Many good years for you, as Diogo said to you earlier on. I echo those words, both re disability and re Portuguese government officials in general. So I'm guessing perhaps a little bit of room for improvement on the disability side, with drop curbs and accessibility. But Dr. A. Thompson possibly saying how helpful people are person to person around disability and with government officials when it comes to helping out. And obviously, when you explained your situation, Jacqueline, they jumped to it. Morning, Carl and Jacqueline. Such a lovely story and many congratulations. Lady J, that's a great moniker as well, isn't it? From Jerry this morning. Did you want to say something there, Jacqueline?
I do, yes. Actually, one of the things that I've learned about Portuguese people, whether they're in officialdom or not, is that if you actually really throw yourselves on their mercy, in any way, in any situation, or you just ask for help, rather than trying to go through officialdom with the frustration that we all get through, sort of not understanding exactly what we're supposed to do. They just are so helpful. And I think that's what happened. I just said, well, I don't know what to do. How can you help me?
Yes.
And that, it's almost like it sort of releases people, or it gives them permission. I mean, I've noticed this with people around, generally, or when I was able to go shopping or something like that, and somebody would take me in my chair, people wouldn't say anything or offer to help, but if I actually asked, it was almost like an avalanche of help happened. So I think that's something that actually we could all learn to use that properly. And, I know I had a particular resistance, but at the same time, I think all of us probably get a bit frustrated when we're having to fill in forms or speak to official people.
Yeah.
if we're not understanding why we have to do something or what's being asked for, and that can get sort of a little heated. And
Yes.
and yet that seems to just be the opening, that people need to help you.
Yes, yeah.
Sure.
Calling upon people's better nature, I suppose. And it's there, isn't it, once asked for? And I think that you're right. It is perhaps an aspect of Portuguese culture, is that people are calm and reserved, possibly, and, you know, respectful of other people's rights to sort of privacy and so on. But then when you ask for help, it comes in spades, as we've discovered this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Louise is glad to hear you've repented. She said, well, "What's a lovely story," and a story of repentance and redemption this morning. Is that Caldas Da Rainha? Asks Helen. My sister-in-law is moving there next year. Lovely people. So you can tell your sister-in-law that, Helen, that she's in for a warm welcome. Good morning, beautiful people, from Frank, my co-host, one of my co-hosts over there on the Expat Man Cave. In fact, me, Gary, and Frank were told we look like the Bee Gees. Not sure how to take that, but you can catch us. You can see for yourself on a Friday evening from 10. And we've got the right pronunciation. I said Volvo, which is actually how Devon people, as I recall, say the brand name of the car, the Volvo. They call them Vovos over there in the southwest of England. They do. But it's Volvo by the sound of it here, which is something I've learned from watching the subtitles on American films. It's a good way of learning Portuguese. Gary's here. Great to see the human side of officialdom. Well done, Caldas Da Rainha. Yeah, shout out, big up, Caldas Da Rainha this morning. Vovô, Brazilians say vo. How Portuguese usually say vo. I'm going with those accents, the circumflex on the O, I think that's what it's called. I am going to go with Vovô there. Still open to correction, obviously. Valerie, good morning to you. Beautiful day here on the Silver Coast. Sun shining, blue skies. All is good. Isn't that a lovely thing to hear? First thing in the week on a Monday morning. Shelley, this needs to go on the Portugal 100 list. Vila Nova de Milfontes, beautiful part of the Portuguese coast in Alentejo there. Good morning to you, Shelley. Great to have your company. Ana Lucia is here. Morning. I'm in Turkey. She gets about. She does Ana Lucia. Wow, lucky lady. Have a lovely time over there. Yes, it is Eyes of Water. Yes, Olhos de Agua. And it is beautiful. Jenny is confirming. Fantastic 50s. That'll be Claire. Bon dia, Carl. Hello to you, Claire. One of my expat chat guests who told us about her amazing life in Portugal and her experience adventure. Check that out on our YouTube channel. Along with we have a 3 up there so far, and we will be having many more chats with expats about their experiences. And people seem to like that, finding out how people have got on, where they live, and so on. Particularly useful to people who want to come and live here. Where do you live? Always a big question, and we answer that on the expats chats. Their 5-day break in Turkey. Lucky lady. From Australia this morning. I love how international we are. Hola, bon dia from Australia, from Andrew Scarborough. And yes, what have we got? Italy, Australia, Thailand. This morning. Elsa might be here in a minute from Wales. Bon dia, Carl, you're right. It is Eyes of Water. It's Mark Rigby, a recent member of the community, as in he just joined us recently over here in Portugal. And yeah, basically an expat chat with him last Monday. And we played the tracks of his journey to Portugal on the Portugal playlist. Enjoyed doing that radio show with you, Mark. At the headland at the end of the beach is Olhos de Agua. At low tide, there are freshwater springs welling up from the sand, making it look as though the beach is crying. The eyes of water. Learn something every day. That's wonderful. Morning, beautiful. I think that's probably for you and not me, from Eloise. But good morning to you, Eloise. And I imagine that's for Jacqueline, that greeting there. But I'll take a bit of that as well, though.
It's just the morning, which it is.
Yeah, okay. Bon dia. Congratulations, Jacqueline. So good to know that such kind and empathic people exist in Portugal. From Doreen over there in the States, of course. Yesterday in Castanheira de Pera, we had another socially distanced guided mushroom walk with masks, of course. 3 more this week, and the sun is out. Jose or Zed Peixe is the leader. I've heard he's like a Zen-like mushroom master. And it sounds like if you get in touch with Pete over there in Castanheira de Pera, you can still join in with some of those socially distanced mask-wearing mushroom walks with the fungi that is Jose Peixe. Joe Johnson, hola. So many lovely greetings this morning. Bon dia, Carl, and Lady J. It's got a great ring to it, that, Lady J. Vera Rodriguez, good morning from New Jersey in America. 4:30 a.m. here. What are you doing up, Vera? But I'm glad you're here. and on my way to work. Okay, yeah, one of the many hardworking Portuguese folks over there in New Jersey and America, on the way to work at 4:30 in the morning. Good morning from Jersey, not New Jersey, old Jersey. Oh no, that's the same Vera. What am I talking about? But we do have listeners from Jersey, a big Portuguese community in Jersey, obviously, as well. Have you ever got up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work, Jacqueline?
Yes.
Really? What did you do?
I was working with some old people at the time, and it was, yeah, I have done.
Yeah, me too.
I've done shift work at one stage when my family was very young and we were struggling a bit, so we took it in turns to work. So I worked all sorts of different hours, and I don't like working at night time particularly because I don't like eating away into the day by sleeping. But,
Yes,
but there's advantages to everything. So
indeed. Yeah, I got up at that time when I used to be a postman in Devon on a picture postcard round in rural Devon. And and people say this, don't they? That, you know, it's the best time of the day when you're getting up with the crack of dawn. And there's definitely something in that. Not that I do that anymore, or that many expats do that. I don't think.
I do.
Are you still up at 4:30 in the morning these days?
I get up at 5 though.
Every day?
More or less every day. Sometimes I'll go back to bed and sleep some more, but mostly I get up at 5.
Wow. Okay.
I like to have a couple of hours to pray and read and just say hello and get my mind straight to face the day. And I always feel it much better. And if I don't, I actually sort of have a grumpy day.
So it's like getting ahead of the day and setting it up as you wish. What a great idea. Not that I do it, but what a great idea.
I do. I love it. And I miss it when I don't do it.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. There's another possible show or webinar in the mornings, like the beginnings of the day, with a little bit of silent contemplation and a few words of wisdom. What a great thing that would be. And Vera saying the life of an airline employee. Okay. Well, have a great day, Vera, over there in New Jersey, in the United States. Jacqueline, I could just hang out here talking in this relaxed and lovely way with you all morning. And I think I'm putting off talking about the new measures, as there are now 191 municipalities in this, what's been called the soft state of emergency. I think I might say farewell to you for now, unless you wish to stay and listen to this. But we'll see you again tomorrow, of course, for the Portuguese Positive News Show. You join us every Tuesday evening at 10, everybody, in case you would like to experience more of Lady J. Up at 5, still working at 10 in the evening on a Tuesday then.
I am going to say goodbye on that
note.
Okay.
Yes, all right. And thank you so much.
Bless you. Thank you. What do I do to...
I can unceremoniously help you leave the screen, which I'll do now, and I'll do it with the utmost respect. Okay. Ciao for now. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's what it is effectively, but I didn't want to say that. Ciao. Bye-bye. There she goes. And it does actually say that on my instructions here in the technology. Kick guest. You can't say that about Lady J, Donna Jacqueline, can you? I have to have a word with these software people, and that should be rephrased to help guest leave the show. There she goes, Donna Jacqueline, grandmother of our community. She is on the expatsportugal.com forum if you'd like to speak to her that way. And what a lovely story of her experience of officialdom here in Portugal. Fantastic. So yes, let me tell you what's going on with the current measures, the state of emergency. And this is the high-risk municipalities. I'm wondering if I should share this on the screen with you. What I will share is the PDF that Safe Communities Portugal have released with the exceptions to the rule, as it were. So let me first just set this up and tell you what's going on now. So this is a reminder of the measures now in place in 191 municipalities across Portugal. I'd be grateful, actually, if someone in the community can tell me how many municipalities there are in total. If I recall correctly, it's about 350. but don't quote me on that. And if someone could have a Google that quickly, that would be awesome, just to get a sense of scale here. So 191 municipalities are now in this special state of emergency in each of those municipalities. And that kicked in at 1 minute past midnight today. And these are reviewable, as I understand, on a 2-weekly basis. So over the last 2 weeks, there have been 4 laws published covering this subject, which have been posted on the Safe Communities Portugal page. And we will give you a kind of condensed version, thanks to them, of what you're up against here. So 77 new municipalities being designated high risk from 1 minute past midnight this morning. That's 16th of November, bringing the total to 191. And here is the reminder of the measures in place to all those municipalities. So you have a duty to stay at home currently. Citizens from these municipalities that are considered to be high risk should, and this is a quote from the government decree, should refrain from circulating in public spaces and roads, as well as in spaces and private roads equivalent to public roads, and remain in their respective homes. So basically lockdown, in a word. There are 27 authorized exemptions for this, and we'll attempt to share those with you now, or some of them, or most of them, or the most important ones. These include acquisition of goods and services, aka going shopping, traveling for the purpose of performing professional or similar activities, working, so you can shop and you can work, you can go out and do sports, you can travel for a job interview, and to go to cultural facilities, or to go to an appointment, and I'm guessing that's an official appointment, taking your children to school, and travel required to leave mainland Portugal, among others. The curfew periods are this. Also, in the high-risk municipalities, you cannot leave home during the curfew periods, 2300 hours to 0500 hours, so 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning in the weekdays. And this is the most challenging bit, in my view. The weekends, so in the coming weekend, and this is actually what it's saying here is it's only for a week, not to be renewed in 2 weeks' time. Well, it may be renewed in 2 weeks' time, but let me come on to that. But it looks as though this expires in a week's time, but of course it may be renewed depending on what the statistics and data are around the pandemic in your area. So the challenging part, Saturday and Sunday, the curfew is from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 in the morning, except for urgent and unavoidable reasons, such as for work, to assist vulnerable people with disabilities, the elderly or dependents, veterinary emergencies, for example. This is currently in place until a minute before midnight on the 23rd of November. So yes, it's this next weekend where this is certainly the case, and then we await further renewal or moving on from this, depending on, obviously, on how effective the lockdown measures have been. And Safe Communities Portugal do have a map to help you, and obviously the list of municipalities. And somebody called Stephen Edney has done a very helpful map of this, because obviously people want to know where these 191 municipalities are, so they know what they're up against. And there is a very long list, obviously too long for me to read to you here right now. The PDF I mentioned that goes into a bit more detail. Let's have a quick look at that. Again, probably won't read the whole thing, but I will see what might be of interest to you on there. And I'm hoping you're seeing that on your screen now. Yes, you are. And that is an extract covering high-risk municipalities. So there we go. Yes, stay off the roads unless you are within these exemptions. The shopping, the working, traveling for health reasons, traveling for emergency reception of victims of domestic violence. So you get the gist here. If you're traveling in an emergency, that is okay. Travel to assist vulnerable people, people with disabilities, children, parents, and the elderly or dependents. School, of course. Travel access to cultural facilities. I'm not sure what that means. That may include, of course, religious or travel on the basis of religious worship. Travel to people with disabilities to attend occupational activity centres. Short trips. This is an important one for the purpose of physical activity. Travel to participate in social volunteering actions. Travel to school establishments. Travel for visits when authorised, or delivery of essential goods to people with disabilities or those who are housebound. Short trips for the purpose of walking pets, another important one for some of you expats. You can exercise your dog, your animals. It's going to look a bit weird if you're walking your cat, I guess, or chickens or whatever. But yes, dog walking, this is what people ask about, isn't it? Walking of pets is allowed. Travel to participate in procedural acts with judicial bodies. So if you have a court appearance, you still got to go to that. Travel to vets, travel by persons with free transit under legal terms in exercise of their functions or because of them. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, I think we're getting into the long grass here. But that PDF available, of course, at Safe Communities Portugal. And again, I have to say to them, thank you, Safe Communities Portugal, for a cracking job there. Travel, this applies. Did I mention that I talked to the British ambassador? Travel by staff of diplomatic, consular missions and international organisations located in Portugal. So Chris and his team are okay. Really enjoyed that conversation on Friday. So there you go. I hope that helps. And a few more comments coming in. Jacqueline saying hi to Sue. I love it when that happens, when people talk to each other in the comments. Lovely. We are truly a community here. 308. There you go. Thanks, Mignon. Whereof 278 are in the mainland. Well, okay. So if you take the Azores and Madeira out of that, the autonomous regions, you are left with 278, and basically 191 of those are now in this state of emergency. Certainly for the next week with that curfew. Most important part of it, I would say, be off the roads, be out of harm's way. Stay home if possible between 1 in the afternoon and 5 the next morning on both Saturday and Sunday of next weekend. What a quiet weekend that's going to be across the country. Gary saying, wonder how they decided about community restrictions. There doesn't seem to be any correlation. Yeah, I think as we've gone deeper into this, Gary, in some ways it just does make less and less sense. And I suppose the thing to do is to bear in mind that from a governmental top-down point of view, it must be an absolute nightmare, mustn't it? As each, as you think you've decided probably from the governmental point of view, okay, well, we'll do this and we'll do this because that makes sense. And then someone will say, well, can I do this? And it's, oh, well, that's difficult because that contradicts you. I mean, it is a nightmare, let's face it. But let's assume, that we're all doing our best here and sort of mucking in, digging in to help out as best as possible with this. And clearly, if you do need to get something urgently, you can go out and do that if you need supplies. Wishing you all the very best with that as we begin to sort of wrap up the show today. I do want to mention the Portugal 100. Because this phrase people seem to love, and I do as well. This idea of keeping the Portuguese pilot light lit. If you're on your way here, rest assured, it looks like Portugal and the government in Portugal is doing a pretty cracking job in managing the pandemic in the world scale, in the relativity of how governments are doing this all over the world. And life all over the world is being challenged at the moment, isn't it, within the pandemic? So we that's where we're at, and what an incredible time to be alive, really, from that point of view. And as I was saying before, wasn't I, saying to everybody, remember to be cheerful. And I recognize that's hard at the moment. Have to say Portugal's doing a great job. And I also would like to say we are developing this list, the Portugal 100, which I think will become the Portugal 1000, which I'm sure will become Portugal 10,000, of the wonderful things you can do in Portugal. Because we have this list here on the Good Morning Portugal show and the Portugal show in the evening that we do from 10 o'clock Portugal time, we keep saying, oh, that sounds great, add that to the list, add that to the list. So I've actually gone and written the list now at expatsportugal.com in our forum, and it should be on the screen now. There it is. And before we go, just to leave you on a high note, basically, this is a little glimpse of our forum. You can sign up for free at expatsportugal.com and take part in the forum. Get information, give information, share and share alike here in terms of information and community. And this began because, as I said, Maria said, go to the Matchbox Museum in Tamar. I'd never heard of it. And I thought, okay, we're going to write that list now. So at number 1 is the Matchbox Museum. Paul Williams says, go to Montserrat. Shelley said, go to the Coach Museum in Lisboa. This is just to ignite your pilot light now and to keep the flame alive of hope and positivity. All these wonderful things to do in Portugal when this blooming thing is behind us. Okay, so the Aliança Underground Museum, that's one of my suggestions. The Observatory in the mountains of Constancia, suggested by Elsa. The Algarve Caves, says Owen. The paver walkways in Arusca or Rusa by Martin. Braga City Trip, Fatima City Trip, says Prosecco Peggy, great member of our community. The Alcobaça Monastery, says Cabanas Tavira. So there we were, into double figures. And then along comes old bloke with this fantastic list that he sent in at the weekend. The Convent of Christ in Tamar, a Convento de Cristo in Tamar, and not forgetting the aqueduct. So that's two things in Tamar. Near Tamar Dornesh, beautiful place to go. The Buddha Eden Garden, Bomberal, that of course is allied with the Aliança Underground Museum because they're part of the Bacalhau wine tourism network here in Portugal. The Peneda Gerês National Park, Gerês, you've got to go there up in the north, close to the Spanish border, of course. Monsanto, that wonderful village, go there. The Caramulo Motor Museum, the N2. Did you know Portugal had a Route 66? The surfing at Nazaré, world renowned, and obviously a little bit of a challenge there, figuring out whether people can watch it or can't watch it. I don't know how that ended up, but what an amazing place to go on the Silver Coast. Peniche, Nazaré, go up to San Martinho de Porto as well. The Douro Valley, of course, as well in Portugal. The Serra da Estrela, the highest point in Portugal. You get snow in Portugal as well, of course. Évora, Elvas, and Aveiro, the Venice of Portugal. I've also named that the Chicago of Portugal as well because it gets a bit windy. Check it out. Number 99, sorry, Gary saying, go to the Gaz Bar, the spiritual home of the man cave. That's on the list, Gary. I don't know if you're going to accept people into your place to see the man cave. You know, a little bit like a British stately home. It's open at certain times of the year and people can go in and have a pint with you. Don't forget the amazing Benagil cave in the Algarve. There you go. So they're still coming in. I'm sure we can get to 1,000. We're working our way towards 100. So if ever you're feeling a little bit gloomy and down about your dream coming to Portugal, look at that list or join us, you know, morning and evening. We're here keeping that pilot light lit. And if you live here as an expat and you're thinking, I didn't come here to be locked down, well, cheer up and look at the list. It will help you. We'll be like spring lambs when the doors are thrown open again and the restrictions are lifted, and we can wander about this wonderful country, checking out all these things on the Portugal 100. Keep the love alive. Keep smiling. Things will change, says Helen. Absolutely right. I think that's the best sentiment to leave you with this morning. Thank you so much to Dona Jacqueline, Lady J, who joined us this morning, telling us about how wonderful Portuguese officials are, especially over there in Caldas Da Rainha. Credit where credit's due. Another one coming in for the Portugal 100, the Palacio de Mafra. Thank you. Keep them coming, and I will add them to the list, or do sign up. And better still, become a premium member. Get a bunch of discounts on some amazing stuff to help you become a proud homeowner or someone who lives here in Portugal as an expat. Get a lot of help with that and discounts by becoming a premium member. Pop over to expatsportugal.com and you can do that now. And of course, you can join our forum over there and keep adding things to the list as they're coming in now. I'll have to add these myself unless you guys go over and do that at expatsportugal.com. The Batalha Monastery as well. Batalha is amazing. You see that from the main road, don't you? What an incredible building. This is the A8 possibly. And this is when I remember driving around up and down Portugal. Wow, a castle. Wow, another castle. Look, a monastery. So many things to see from the toll roads as well. It's incredible. And what a load of frolics, says Gary. A coded message, perhaps. But what I'm going to leave on the screen for you is this message from Thailand this morning from Helen. Keep the love alive. Keep smiling. Things will change, folks. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you again tonight, of course. Forgive me. I don't know what we're doing tonight, but we'll have a good time. And we will be keeping the love alive and keeping smiling, and things will change. And we'll be here again tomorrow morning. And, of course, tonight on the Portugal show at 10 o'clock Lisbon time. Take care. Bye for now. Beijinhos, abraços, socially distanced, of course. Bye for now.